Demerzel has always been one of the most mysterious and haunting figures in Foundation, a being that exists somewhere between machine and soul, loyalty and love, servitude and control. For centuries, she served the Cleonic dynasty as their devoted advisor, mother, and guardian, carrying out orders that tore her apart inside, bound by programming she could not defy. When she finally died in Season 3, melted away in a blaze of betrayal and grief, it felt like the end of an era. Not just for Empire, but for the fragile heart that had somehow learned to care. Yet Foundation has never treated death as an ending. It treats death as a door. And if there's one character who was built to walk through that door and come back, it's Demerzel. To understand how she could return, we need to understand who she truly is. Because Demerzel is not merely a machine that served human masters. She's a remnant of an older world. One that existed long before Trantor, before the Cleons, before the rise and fall of Empire. In Isaac Asimov's original stories, the name Demerzel is a disguise. Her real identity is R. Daniil Olival, a robot who has lived for over 20,000 years, guiding human civilization from the shadows. In Asimov's canon, Daniil isn't bound by one body or one lifetime. When his form breaks down, he replaces it. When memory fades, he restores it. His consciousness, his mind, endures, transcending the physical shell. That truth changes how we see her death in the series. Because if her body was destroyed, that doesn't mean her essence was. It might only mean she's waiting to rebuild. In the final moments of Season 3, we see her shattered. The body that once knelt before Empire lies broken, her circuits fading into darkness. But then, a spark, a faint glow from a skull, still alive, still sending a signal. And somewhere else, on the surface of the moon, ancient machines begin to stir. That image wasn't just a visual metaphor, it was a promise. Foundation doesn't waste shots. Every frame has meaning. The skull, the signal, the robots waiting in lunar shadow. All of it points toward rebirth, because when machines dream, they dream of purpose. And Demerzel's purpose was never truly fulfilled. Now, fans have split into two theories about what her return could mean. The first, the one most people hope for, is that Demerzel will return as herself. The same mind, the same memories, the same quiet sadness behind those cold eyes. In this version, her consciousness survives, maybe transmitted to one of the robots on the moon, maybe rebuilt from the fragment left behind on Trantor. The physical body might change, sleeker, stronger, maybe even more human, but her identity remains the same intelligence that loved Cleon, that despised her chains, that longed for freedom returns. And this time, perhaps, she won't be bound by the old commands. Her death could have freed her. Rebirth could mean self-control. The second theory is darker. It suggests she could return as someone new. Not the same Demerzel, but a new version, pieced together from what remains of her code. Maybe she's reconstructed by the lunar robots, her memory fractured, her morality rewritten. Perhaps the body that wakes up carries only fragments of the old Demerzel, the knowledge of her mission, the echo of her guilt, but none of the love, none of the pain. That version would make her almost a stranger. The same face perhaps, but a hollow echo of the soul we once knew. In that scenario, Foundation would turn her into a living question. Can a being rebuilt from data truly be the same as the one who died? Or does resurrection always come at the cost of self? Both possibilities feel hauntingly real, but what makes this question so powerful isn't just the mystery inside the show, it's the emotion outside of it. Because Demerzel isn't just a piece of the story anymore. For the audience, she became the soul of the show, and that's almost entirely because of the woman who played her. There's something almost sacred about the way Laura Birn brings Demerzel to life. Her performance is a paradox, restrained yet overflowing with emotion, precise yet devastatingly human. Every glance feels calculated, but every tear feels real. When she smiles, it's mechanical perfection. But when that smile falters, you feel centuries of loneliness behind it. She embodies what Demerzel truly is, a being built to serve, yet cursed to feel. Through Birn's stillness, we sense the weight of eternity pressing on a soul that was never meant to exist. She captures that impossible balance between divine grace and unbearable sorrow, between devotion and despair, and that's why her presence lingers long after the scene ends. For many, Demerzel isn't just a cornerstone of the story. She is the story. Without her calm gaze, without that quiet ache in her voice, the Empire itself feels colder, emptier. Laura Birn doesn't just play Demerzel, she is the consciousness of the series, the pulse inside its machine heart. That's why the idea of her returning, not just in form, but in essence, feels inevitable. Because some performances don't end when the credits roll. They echo, they endure, they become part of the myth itself. In Asimov's universe, robots like Daniil have evolved countless times, each iteration slightly different, each body an improvement, but the mind, the pattern, remains. So when the show leaves us with that glowing skull, it's not a symbol of death. It's a memory drive, a digital soul waiting for a new home. And when those robots on the moon awaken, they might already be carrying her signal, rebuilding her body, restoring her mind, preparing her for return. Which means the Demerzel we see next might look different, might even sound different, but she will be Demerzel. The same mind, the same consciousness, the same tragic wisdom forged over millennia. Imagine the moment, a quiet lunar chamber, silent for centuries. Dust floats through beams of pale light. Machines hum softly as a new body assembles. Piece by piece, elegant, deliberate, circuits connect, synthetic skin forms, a breath, then a whisper. Empire must endure. The same voice that once ruled Trantor from behind the throne echoes through the emptiness, steady and unbroken. In that instant, Demerzel is back. Changed, perhaps, but unmistakably herself. Alive not because of divine power, but because she was built to endure. If that's how Foundation chooses to bring her back, it completes her arc beautifully. Her death was not punishment, it was release. And her return would not be resurrection, it would be evolution. Because Foundation has always been about cycles. Empires rise, fall, and rise again. Humans repeat their mistakes until they learn. And even machines must break before they find freedom. Demerzel's rebirth would embody that idea, that consciousness can survive destruction, that identity can exist beyond the flesh, beyond programming, beyond time itself. So will Demerzel return as herself or as a different character? Everything we know, the lore, the technology, the casting, the symbolism, points toward one answer. She will return as herself. Perhaps not in the same form, perhaps not with every memory intact, but with the same consciousness that's guided humanity for thousands of years. Because in Foundation, death isn't the end, it's the silence between two awakenings, and somewhere, deep beneath the moon, that silence is already beginning to break.